Good morning. Good morning. We got our first comment. Good morning, Rock. What up, bro? Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I'm gonna give y'all a few more minutes before we get started. Super excited about today's episode. Man, today's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Wait till a few more people come in, and then I will get started. We got a few housekeepings. A lot of stuff has happened this week, a lot, and a lot of stuff is coming up in the coming week. Super, super excited. Uh, Today's going to be a very, very dope episode. I'm super excited. What am I doing? Okay, I'm trying to get the rest of my show notes together, y'all. Got to pull that stuff up. And then here we go. All right. What up, Nameless? Good morning, bro. Good morning. What up? All right. It is. We are now live. Okay, so let me go ahead and do some housekeeping. So, for those who don't know and don't follow me on IG, Monday, August the 28th, I was surprised, not really surprised, but I was surprised with a beautiful clutch of eggs from my girl Coils, my pastel. And her baby daddy was a Mr. Gold. He's a Cypress Mojave Gold Blush. So I'm super excited about those. If I could just get one Pastavi, because I looked on Morph Market to see you look on Morph Market calculator to see your odds of babies, and I want a Pastavi. And if it has a hint of the gold blush in there, hey, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. But I'm super, super excited. Four eggs out there clutch, four big, beautiful, healthy eggs. One little egg that's smaller than the rest, but when uh, Kayla from Lucy Land handled them to make sure they're all on the right side and find the embryo, the biggest embryo out of all four eggs was the smallest egg. um, and so they think that that's going to be a big baby. They think that's going to be a huge baby. Oh, sorry, y'all. You might hear a train go by. My apologies. So yeah, I'm super, super excited. Thank you, Nameless. Dundee, Father Dunn in the house. So yeah, that was big news this week for me for Creative Reptiles. This past Monday when Coils laid that clutch of eggs, four beautiful eggs, super excited. Now waiting the 55 days for them to pip or hatch. They're at Nikki's house, my mentor, Mutation Station. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to peek in every 5 seconds looking. Are they out? Are they out? Like a little bit of distance will help me in my mental. Good morning. Good morning. Also, housekeeping news. This coming Monday, which is this Monday, I will be special guest on Celtic Balls podcast, PUI, Podcasting Under Influence. That's Auntie and Uncle. Every time y'all hear me say, "Hey, Auntie," I'm talking to Angie. Um, Super excited. Can't wait to be on their podcast. I've watched all of their shows that they've had over the past couple of years, and I love how it's evolving and getting better and better. And so I will be a special guest on Celtic Balls PUI episode on this coming Labor Day, this Monday. So I am so excited about that. Keys, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the support, bro. And Keisha. Keisha's probably still asleep. What's up, everybody? And other housekeeping news. Oh, this podcast and every podcast episode is brought to you by my sponsors, Mutation Station and Lucy Land Ball Pythons. If you're in the Mid South area in Memphis, even surrounding like Jackson and things like that, and parts of Mississippi, I highly recommend you go on Instagram and check out Mutation Station. Not only are they great reptile breeders, but they provide the best feeders, hands down, the best feeders. They do ASFs, they do Norwegians. Um, their daughter Kayla Lucy, aka Lucy Land, is doing she's doing dubia roaches and a lot of other specialty insects for tarantulas and lizards and things like that. So please hit them up on Instagram. They are my sponsors. They are my mentors. They are my helpers. Mutation Station / Lucy Land. So shout out to my sponsors. What up? Ah, Keisha's up. Good morning, Keisha. Don't blame Keisha for any show being late. Do not blame Keisha. Keisha's innocent. We blame Blade. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So again, I have my first clutch in the incubator. Got to wait these long 55 days. Um, Mutation Station is the sponsor. Just shouted them out. And I will be on Celtic Balls PUI podcast this Monday on Celtic Balls channel. So please check it out. I believe it's at 7:30 my time central. So please come and say hi in the chats on that show, but don't get drunk. Angie and Angie and them love drinking. Do not get drunk on that podcast. Okay. So let's get started on the topic. Ah, yes. Yes, Keisha, please hit the like button, subscribe. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate the support. All right. So I have my notes. I got my iPad off to the side, so I might be referring to my notes, but there's certain things that I want to talk about because one, the writer strike is still going on. The writers and actor strike is still going on in Hollywood. And because I am heavy supporter of the film industry, of especially the writers and the actors, I am not going to be reviewing any new movies from the major studios. Now, the independent films, the Actors Guild did allow those actors and directors to still promote their work and still, do the circuits around. And so, um, uh, no, do you funny? Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. um, and so with the strike going on, I am in solidarity of them. So I will not be reviewing any new movies off the major studios. Now, I might do some small independent films in the future until the strike is over, but just showing solidarity for those who make these entertainment world happen. The movies will not be the movies without the actors and the writers. And I don't care what anybody says, AI will not replace them. So that is why I decided to do topics mostly instead of reviews for right now. Um, so today's topic is something that's been tugging on my heart and very important to me. I am a former film student. I got my bachelor's degree in film and video productions here at the University of Memphis. I've studied and written so many stupid 5, 6, 7, 8 paragraph essays on film movies and movies that I really did not care for. I was forced to watch movies that I did not care for. Now, some of the movies I end up liking, like Lawrence of Arabia. It's long as hell, but I did not expect that I was going to like it. When my professor was like, "We're watching this movie and you got to write a paper on it," I was like, "Oh, hell no. A Man in the Desert, I don't feel like watching that." But it turned out to be pretty good. So, as far as old school movies, I'm not mad that I was forced to watch that. And so this particular topic has been tugging on my heart because with the media, social media, the news, and all this other stuff, people have been misinterpreting the word woke. And every time there's a film out with a person of color or anybody from a marginalized group being the lead role, people are complaining, saying Hollywood is going woke, go broke, and all this other bullshit. And so I decided, say, let's have a conversation on the film industry. What is woke versus representation? And are these studios wrong for what they're doing and what's been coming out now? So let's begin. Now, as a disclaimer, what I'm talking about is from a black lens because, hey, I'm a black trans man. As y'all can see, I am blackity black black. And so I'm coming from the perspective of Black people in movies and film, but the topics that I'm talking about, things I'm talking about, can pertain to other races. Like just now, um, Native American people are getting more roles, more respect. There's a TV show, I think on FX, I think. I haven't watched it yet, but the whole cast is Native Americans, and I think that's dope. I think that's awesome. They're the heroes. They are the main characters. They're not the villains, and it's not a period piece. It's modern time, like modern day, where it's like a bunch of teenagers in the inner city. And I do want to check it out. I just haven't had time because work, grad school, reptiles. You don't have time to sit and watch TV a lot. Um, but it's just now happening in 2023. Like, come on, y'all. And that could go for other things like Asians and Hispanics. So everything I talk about can pertain to other marginalized groups, but I'm just speaking from a Black lens. So let's talk first the big, huge elephant in the room when it comes to Hollywood movies, and that is our good old friend blackface. Back in the day, when movies were created, um, black people weren't allowed to act in roles. They were played by white people. And let's see, blackface history. I've got my notes out. So the history of blackface in Hollywood, 20th century. In the early years of film, black characters were routinely played by white people in blackface. In the first filmic adaptation of Uncle Tom's Cabin in 1903, all major black roles were white people in blackface. So that's the beginning of Hollywood. That's just history. That is what it is. And you've also heard of minstrel shows. Like, we were pretty much the clowns, um, for people's entertainment. Just now on I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Right now on Twitter, people are trying to cancel Judy Garland, the legendary Judy Garland, because she was in blackface. Now, do I condemn? Now, do I think we should cancel someone who, for one, is dead and been dead for a while? But two, we have to think of the context. She was owned by the studios. When she played that role, she was 16 years old, and she was forced to be in movies. We don't know whether or not she even wanted to play. So yes, we should know the history, and yes, we should be aware. But I don't canceling someone who's been dead forever because they were 16 years old, abused, drugged up, and forced to perform for major studios just because she was in blackface when everybody was in blackface. I don't know. I'm not canceling Judy Garland. I'm sorry. I'm not canceling the legend. But it's good to be aware. And the fact that the younger generation is just now finding this out, um, it kind of makes me laugh when I see the young people, Gen Zs and them, like, oh my gosh, can't you believe this actually happened? And people like me who was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s, we like, yeah, yeah, it happened. What's up, Bosa? What's up, Bosa? Just now seeing you come in. Good morning. I've never heard woke not used as a dog whistle. Yes, exactly. We are going to get into that. Yes. Let's see. Yes, we are definitely going to get into woke. I just want to do a brief history on film and our roles, black people in it, because in the beginning we had no roles. We had no roles. We were being played by white people in blackface. So, speaking of which, let's get into the definition of woke right now, and I'm why I put in the thumbnail is full y'all full of shit. When y'all use the term woke, especially with today's films. Um, yeah. And so the true definition of woke, the true definition of woke. Woke is an adjective derived from African American vernacular English meaning alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. The beginning of the 2010s, it became encompassed of broader awareness of social inequalities such as sexism and LGBTQ rights. So when you hear people say stay woke, we're saying stay aware, stay alert. That is the true 100% definition of woke. Unlike the bullshit that people who are not black are using. Um, like Keisha said, is used as a dog whistle. They pretty much taken the term away from black people and made their own definition and using it in the wrong context. So whenever I hear people saying, "Oh, this is woke media, this is woke," the movies have gone woke, the music have gone woke. I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like you make no damn sense. It's just and it's stupid. It's stupid. And I always look at people weird when they use that term. And we've been seeing it a lot. Every time a movie trailer comes out, whether it's a brand new film that has never a brand new story or a property that's being remade, i.e., The Little Mermaid from Disney, or if it's a horror film that just happens to have a lot of black people in it, or a black person as a lead, or a female as a lead, or you name it. You got people coming out saying, "Oh my gosh, Disney's gone woke. Oh my gosh, Universal, Warner Brothers gone woke. Oh my gosh, these movies have gone woke. Boycott it, y'all." The things that people said over that damn Barbie movie. Now I have not seen Barbie at all, but the things that came out when Barbie movie came out, people say, "Oh my gosh, Barbie is woke. It's woke. It's the woke agenda." A white Barbie doll with unrealistic standards of beauty is woke? Like, I don't think that's what y'all mean, y'all. I don't think that's what y'all mean. So you rather be asleep? Yeah, exactly. What's up, C Jones? Have y'all if y'all not checked out last week's podcast episode, I had C Jones as my guest and we got into music. Please, if you have not seen that, go check it out. It was a great episode. What's up, C Jones? Good morning. And so that's what I want to talk about because it's been very frustrating to be. I love film, I love movies, and it's very frustrated that every time a movie comes out or a movie is announced, people are trying to boycott it or trying to negative review. There's a whole group of people who go to Rotten Tomatoes to negatively review movies that they haven't even seen, movies that hasn't even came out yet, just because to them it is quote unquote woke. Just stupid. And let me look something else up as far as the history of Hollywood, because first of all, the only people who are full of shit are the people who are complaining about diversity in films and representation in films, and the major movie studios, because I'm gonna I'm gonna get into the major movie studios, including my favorite Disney, because I know I'm a Disney nerd. I used to work for the company, um, but I am 100% objective. As much as I love the Walt Disney Company, I am objective of the big wigs, the executives, the CEOs, because I know that they're full of shit. And the only reason why they're pushing diversity is because of the money. Um, so let's see when was the very first black actor to win an Oscar? Now I know the answer, but I want to give you guys the actual date, and we're going to talk about it. The first black actor to win an Oscar, because I want to give you the exact date of when that was. Okay, so Sidney Poitier, he was the first black winner of a lead Oscar actor, the lead Oscar actor, back in 1964. So film has been out since 1903, a little bit more than that if you were including the silent films, that era when the cameras first invented. Since, since filmmaking has began, Sidney Poitier in 1964 was the first one to win a lead role, but he's not the first one to win. There is a wonderful actress who won before him, but it wasn't a lead role. She won supporting. And that was Hattie McDaniel in 1940. 1940. Film has been out before the 1900s. And back then, we weren't getting roles. People were playing us in blackface. Hattie McDaniel was the first person of color, first black person to win an Oscar for Gone with the Wind in 1940. Sidney Poitier, after her, won Best Lead Actor. First black person to win First Lead Actor of Oscars. After that, y'all, do you see where I'm? And it was. Do you see where I'm getting at? Where I'm hinting at? And then the only time when we were represented in film, we were servants, we were slaves, we were the help, or we're what the film industry called the mystical, magical N word. And the reason why we got that term is because in films, if you were considered the mystical, magical N word in films, your role was strictly is to help the main character succeed in a goal, or you were like their mentor, sensei, help. For example, because this actor plays this role in a lot of things, but let's say his name, I'm sorry, y'all. I just drew a blank. Doggone it. He plays God. He has a voice. Somebody help me out. But basically the black person who helps everybody out in the film as a supporting actor. Those were the only roles we were getting. The only roles we were getting back in the day. You was either a slave, a servant, the mystical, magical N word, which was the person who just helped the main character get um everything, succeed a goal or complete a mission. And 9 times out of 10, you died before the little good guy won. um, oh, like the great actor Dick Halloran in what's that movie? The Shining. The Shining. He was the black man who had the shining, who helped the child and his mom escape. Yes, Morgan Freeman. Thank you guys. Morgan Freeman. Freeman played the magical N word in a lot of his films. A lot of his films. Um, let's see. Let's see what y'all talking about. I'm sorry, I'm behind on the chats. I just let's see. That just lets me know that you're yes, yes, yes. That is true, Keisha. Yes. Sorry, I didn't watch award shows. Hey, you know what? Back in the day, I wasn't a big award show person, but like I said, I went to film school. because I really thought I was gonna graduate from college and go to Hollywood and be a cinematographer. That was my dream, but that did not work. But my professor quickly let us know that the only jobs we were getting in the news stations, and I said, nope, I'm not doing it. Um, but while I was in college, we got a chance to be a part of the Grammys Music Academy, and I was a member of the recording the movie academy, the Oscars. So even though our votes really didn't matter, we were able to cast a vote for the movies and stuff. So that's when I started paying attention to award shows. Because we were members of those academies. Like, to say I was a member of the Oscar Academy and the Grammy Academy because I was a film student was amazing. But it was an amazing experience. And we had like special watch parties and stuff like that. But to be a part of that committee was a lot of fun. Um, but that's when I started watching award shows and paying attention. But let's see, where was I again? Where was I again? So, anyways, those were the roles we were getting. And that was all we were getting for the longest of times. We were the side characters. We were the characters that helped people out. We were the characters that died first. Shout out to all the horror film geeks. Let's see. What Keisha say? We watch so many films with characters that don't look like us. A man should be able to watch a movie with a woman as the main character without automatically saying I can't relate. For example, facts. Facts. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you. I just don't understand. For years. For years. My whole matter of fact, my whole life. I'm a child watching Disney movies, watching Nickelodeon shows, watching. Didn't none of them characters look like me? But I watched it. It was entertainment. I enjoyed it. So what's wrong now that they decided to remake The Little Mermaid and make Ariel black? And in my opinion, and then people were suggesting, "Oh, this actress should do it. This actress should do it. How come they didn't cast a redhead?" And every actor that they suggested should have played Ariel besides Halle Bailey. When you think of Ariel, when you think of Little Mermaid, when you think of the singing, I could tell you now, right now, them actors can't sing. Matter of fact, no offense, because I love Jodie Benson. I love Jodie Benson. She's the original voice of Ariel. She's been playing Ariel in everything, including video games and stuff like that. Even Jodie Benson would tell you that Halle Bailey will sing her out under the table. Like, come on, y'all. It's not just about the acting with certain films, it's also about the voice. Dundee said I'm magical. I'm sick of you, Dundee. Yes, thank y'all for helping me out with my brain fog. Morgan Freeman, yes. I was going through it for a second with the names. Okay, so sorry, y'all. Hold on one second. I did not want to cough in y'all ear. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so we talked about the history of Hollywood and our roles in it. We talked about the true definition of woke, the real, not the Fox News definition of woke, but the real definition of woke and where it derived from. And now let's talk about movies today, because, well, before we talk about movies today, I do want to talk to piggyback off of this fake woke agenda that people are complaining about in movies and music, but mainly movies. Um, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I always shout out Disney. I always bring up Disney movies. I always bring up Disney films when I'm doing this podcast. Let's talk about the big elephant room, and that is my favorite theme park ride, but it's based off a tragic film, and that is Songs of the South. Songs of the South. If you truly, truly want to talk about a film that was so negative on our community, besides Gone with the Wind and everything else before that, is the character Uncle Remus and Songs of the South. Now, I love that song, Zippity Doo Dah Day. I love that song. And I still listen to it to this day. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But the film itself came out in 1946. And even back then, people say, oh, people say, "Oh, they complain too much. They complain too much." The woke agenda. They complain too much these days. People whine and too sensitive. I hate that word. Too sensitive these days. Y'all, the NAACP boycotted Songs of the South back in 1946. So we are not sensitive now. We've always been sensitive about these things from the very beginning. In 1946, Songs of the South was released, and it depicted us in a horrible light with the character of Uncle Remus. And not only with the character of Uncle Remus, but the animal characters, because it was live action with the cartoons. And, they had the little live action story. And then Uncle Remus will tell, you know, his owners, his slave owners, children, the story of Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and Brer Brer. Um, and it will transition on to the cartoon, to the animated stories of, you got the fox and the bear trying to get the rabbit. But even the characters, the animal characters, the rabbit, the fox, and the bear, was speaking in the slave ebonics, oh my, that jarring vernacular that was detrimental to our community. It was very offensive. And even back then, the NAACP boycotted it in 1946. They boycotted it so much and so bad that Disney took that film and anything that reminds you of that film out of the vault and never resold it. It came out on VHS and was released in China and maybe certain parts of Europe, but to this day, it was never officially released in America on physical media. Now, you can look online on Amazon and probably find some. Matter of fact, there is a shows how I live in the South Tennessee. I went to a vintage shop not too far from my house, and they had a bunch of Songs of the South memorabilia, the books, the cassette tape with the songs Zippity Doo Dah Day, the Brer Rabbit plushie. And these are very vintage items. And they had a VHS copy, and they were trying to charge like $500 for all this stuff. So there were physical medias here or there, and you could probably find some if you go searching, but Disney never officially released it in America on physical copies because of all the backlash they got back then. So this isn't new. This is not new. And Disney, and when I say Disney, I don't mean Walt Disney, because the man been dead forever. And even when he was alive, he really did not care. But the company Disney, the Disney as the company, the conglomerate, has been apologizing to black people about Songs of the South forever. And they still apologizing, which is why they are constantly, constantly giving us things with black characters now to make up for. But let's see, Songs of the South came out 1946. 1946. When did we get a first black princess? Because, growing up, I love watching Disney films and watching the princess movies. So, 1946, Songs of the South, Uncle Remus, Zippity Doo Dah Day, slave, s- telling old fables to his master's kids. We didn't get representation, positive representation from Disney until 2009 with Princess and the Frog. And even then, out of all the Disney princesses in the Walt Disney catalog, all the princesses were human 90% of their movie except for Princess Tiana. All the other princesses, you got to see them in the as themselves, but Princess Tiana had to turn into a frog and be a frog majority of the film. So representation. So it's crazy how the studios try to throw us a bone, but it still don't be enough. And now we have Marvel with, the Black Panther films. We have the Little Mermaid remake with Ariel being a black. And honestly, the best representation we have gotten is from Marvel as far as positivity, where we're not disrespected, as I would say. Oh Lord, yes, El Papa is in the chats. So I don't know, y'all in the chats who are listening, who are watching, what do you think? Give me your feedback because I don't want this to be a dialogue of just me. What do you think? Is wokeness real in Hollywood? And or not, or if y'all believe, if y'all agree with me that it's just a bunch of BS, that people are using a term that we created, that we came up with, and flipped it to be the exact opposite. So, what movie are you talking about? They clone Tyrone? Yeah, that movie's funny. That movie's funny. I like They Clone Tyrone, but it's hit or miss for some people. But it's crazy. And like I said, when it comes to representation in Hollywood, it's not just with black people, it's with everybody. Like, people get mad if a film starring way too many women. Or if it has like one LGBTQ character. And then the movie cannot even mention that they're gay, but because they present themselves or they don't look the typical norm, people freak out and say, "Oh my gosh, they're going woke. Hollywood is going woke." I just want us to just destroy that word. I want that word to be destroyed because it was never meant to be what people are saying it is. Like, they really snatched that from us. They really took that from us and we let them. That is funny. Let's see. Keisha said, I've noticed that each iteration of Tiana is getting lighter and lighter, hairless, curly, shaking my head. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you. Yes, Keisha. Because for those who don't know, one of Disney's apologies to the black community is that they're changing the Splash Mountain ride at both theme parks to a Princess Tiana theme park. I mean, ride. So they're taking away Songs of the South. They're taking away the rabbit and the bear and the fox and the zippity doo dah days, and they're giving us a Tiana ride. It's the same ride. You're still going to go in a log cabin. You're going to go around and you're going to drop and get wet. It's still the same ride. So I don't see why people are crying and complaining about it. But they're going to throw in the Princess and the Frog characters. But in the promotions of this ride, Princess Tiana has gotten lighter skin, and one picture, they took away the curly hair. I was like, what the world? I said, we're going backwards, Disney. Disney, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. Well, what are y'all doing? Again, they throw us a bone and then they snatch it back. They still disrespect us in a way. Yes, thank you, Keisha, for bringing that up. That is hilarious. But I'm excited to see what they do with the ride, because one thing about Disney Imagineers, they don't they don't play when it comes to these animatronics. They don't play when it comes to these rides. Disney and even Universal now has done such a great job with their theme parks that when I go to smaller amusement parks like Dollywood or Six Flags, I feel like I'm at a cheap carnival. Like, the bar is so high now, especially with Universal, and they're now all the Universals are now giving us the Super Mario World, and I've seen pictures and videos. Oh my gosh, it looks like you're actually in the video game. So I will say Disney and Universal has been killing it in the theme park. So I'm excited to see what this new Splash Mountain ride with Princess Tiana is going to be, because I know those animatronics are going to be dope. Um, but yeah, it's just why they had to make in the promotional pictures her lighter skin. Why are they changing the shade of her color? Like, no, crazy. Which is annoying. C. Jones said, which is annoying because she's the only person I had to look up to as a child. Facts. Facts. C. Jones is younger than a lot of us, and so she was literally a child when in 2009 when Princess and the Frog came out. So for them to try to change stuff up is crazy. It's crazy. Let's see. Who am I supposed to look up to for representation? Exactly. Let's see. They do it with Bumblebee and the DC cartoons. Yes. Orange Blossom and Rainbow Bright. Yes. Oh my gosh. Or who's the OG of Marvel as far as black character? Storm from X-Men. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Halle Bell. I mean, not Halle Bailey. I love her too, but I love Halle Berry. But she is way too light skinned to be Storm in those X-Men films. I'm sorry. Storm was a dark skinned character. Like, I get it. They stay disrespecting us, especially with these movies and these cartoons. Like, and again, the most positive representation we've gotten was the Black Panther films, both of them, because the characters actually look like the characters from the comic books. Like, I read these comic books when they cast all the women for the Dora Milaje. I'm like, yes, finally, true representation. And R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman. He was a great Black Panther. He was, and I love um Shuri as the new Black Panther. Her character was amazing in both films. But yeah, we're just now getting it. When did Black Panther the first one come out? 2018 or 17? Like, it's crazy. It is crazy, but it's just like, y'all, I wish we could take back the word woke. I wish we could take that word back and reclaim it as our own because it was our own, and tell these folks to stop using it every time a movie comes out and they don't like the casting. Like, it's just stupid. It's a dog. It, like Keisha said, it's dog whistling. That's all it is. And then they rate and review movies before the movies even come out based off the trailer. They rate and review movies, and you see these nerds, especially in the comic book realm. You see these nerds going on YouTube and ranting and making full blown videos. Oh my gosh, they've gone woke. Oh my gosh, they changed this character. They changed this character. And it's like, y'all had superheroes ever since the beginning of filmmaking. Y'all have superheroes. Y'all own superheroes ever since the beginning of TV shows. Let us have something. Throw us a bone, but don't disrespect us at the same time. At the end of the day, it's easy to say representation is no big deal when you've always been represented. Facts. Keisha's preaching today. Keisha, how come you ain't join the conversation? How come you ain't get on camera? Well, I know y'all probably sleep because of hair down. Speaking of which, if y'all don't watch Hair Down Fridays, y'all need to. Keys Constrictors. We've been on a streak of egg cuttings for the past 2 months. It is amazing. I love seeing new snake eggs being cut and hatch. And Keisha, she cut some eggs last night. Oh my gosh. So that was dope. But I digress. Yeah, it's like, how are you mad when you've been represented since the beginning of time? Your people stay getting roles, stay getting the Oscars. And let's not talk about LGBTQ community in their representation, because since the beginning of Hollywood, trans people have been played by straight people, and those straight people been getting Oscars for those roles, when we have plenty of trans actors that's been around since at least the 70s. At least. Can't tell me there has not been trans actors before um, Orange is the New Black. You can't tell me that lie. You can't tell me that lie, because I've studied film. Um, as a matter of fact, there if you have Netflix, I recommend this to everybody. If you have Netflix, there is a documentary called Disclosure, and it's hosted by Laverne Cox, the great Laverne Cox, and it talks about the history of trans folks in film and video and TV. We've been around. We've been around forever. This isn't new. Orange is the New Black was not the first time y'all have seen a trans person on TV. You probably didn't know it, but they've been around. and they're just and people are complaining that they're now being getting representation and getting roles, but yet people like Jared Leto gets an Oscar for playing something that he's not. If 200 characters look like you, but only five that, but only the five that don't upset you, evaluate yourself. It's okay to do this. Exactly, facts. Yes, yes, y'all did cut a nice clutch. The super duper classics. When T was saying, "Oh, that's just a normal," I'm like, Looking at the pattern, the normals look nice. I'm gonna have to get one of them normals. I could tell. I could tell. Let's see. Yes, I love Orange is the New Black, but I hate that. I hate that that was now the the time where Hollywood started paying attention to trans actors, because Laverne Cox isn't the first and she won't be the last. Um, and she's amazing. I love her. She's the goat. But she's not the first trans person actress, and she won't be the last. Like, there's plenty. There have been some, but they just won't get. They won't give them the roles, and they can act. So, like I said, everything that I've been preaching about tonight, to this morning, in this episode, can be talked about it. Other marginalized group can talk about it. Let's talk about, like I said, I saw on TV a commercial for a modern day, not a period piece, a modern day TV show about some teenagers growing up in the inner city, and the entire cast is Native American in 2023. Besides C. Jones, for those of us who's grown up in the 80s, 90s, 70s for some people, when do we see Native Americans in film and TV? What were they? Still with bows and arrows, still hunting and riding and walking with buffaloes, still fighting cowboys. Like, we're just now getting representation of modern day today natives, people who were here first in America. Like, it's a shame. In 2023, they're just now getting their representation. Asians, and there's so many different Asian groups of people, but we just lump them together. Like, Japanese is different than Chinese, y'all. They are different. Um, Korean is different from, but what roles do they only get in Hollywood? What are the roles that they only get in Hollywood up until now? Up until the Marvels and, you know, what, like, come on, y'all. This fight for representation in Hollywood has been around for a while and for a lot of groups, because back in the day, again, I studied film. Back in the day, Asian characters were Caucasian people in yellow face and makeup, heavy makeup, to look a different tone, skin tone. Same with Hispanics. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I do love that movie though. I'm glad you're enjoying the C. Johnson film. Is Ah, I know in the 90s and early 2000s there were one or two mainstream movies that were from the native perspective. Yes, yes, facts. Like, the fact that we're finally seeing them, other than Pocahontas. Like, people act like Pocahontas is or Sacagawea are the only Native Americans in the world that existed. Uh, and even then, I love Disney. I love Disney to death, but I can critique them even then. Besides Pocahontas, who vocally was played by a Caucasian woman and not a Native American. Um, But let's talk about how they were portrayed in Peter Pan, the classic Peter Pan, the Native Americans in that. Very racist, very racist. How they were portrayed in that. Um, it's crazy. I can love something and critique it and be objective to the BS that they gave us over the years in history. But I can also say good job when they do right by us for the few times they do it. Like I'm happy that um the Polynesian community got Moana. I'm happy and proud that other groups are being represented, and as quiet as it's kept, they're slowly but surely throwing LGBTQ in, even though people are complaining. Don't put that gay stuff in my kids' movies. Da, 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 da." And it's like, y'all, gay kids exist. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I've been teaching. I've been in the school system since 2016. I can't tell you how many LGBT youth children have come out to me over the years, elementary, middle, and high. You don't just turn 18 and become queer. They've been exist. So why can't they have representation? I've been watching straight people my whole life. And I still end up being who I am. I still end up being trans. Like, and I've been watching straight folks my whole life in media. If your child watches one LGBTQ character in a movie, it's not going to kill them or change them at all. Exactly. We need more. The wild party is we're all just people existing. Facts, Keisha. We at the end of the day, we're all just people existing. Why can't we have stories about us, for us, written by us, or just show us? Why can't we have that without people complaining and saying, "Oh my gosh, it's woke." You like, oh, y'all don't know what woke is. It's crazy, but let's see. Dundee said, I've always been gay and there is no representation when I was younger. I still who I am. Facts, Dundee. Facts. We didn't have representation growing up watching these films. And when we did, they were coded. They were coded. They were like it was like the unspoken truth. And we were villains. We were villains in our media. Growing up, we were queer coded as the bad guys. Look at, and if you don't believe me, look at all the Disney films, all the cartoons, look at all the villains and how they were very flamboyant in their gestures and their movements and how they talked, all the villains, Scar, Maleficent, Jafar. Um, they even came out and said Ursula was inspired by Divine, the drag queen. We're always the bad guys. We're always queer coded as the bad guys. Even in horror films, let's not go down the history of horror films. Oh my gosh, most of the killers, Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lamb. Go watch that documentary Disclosure, where it talks about trans folks in Hollywood and LGBT people representation in Hollywood. Go watch on Netflix Disclosure, that documentary. It's gonna open your eyes to a lot of films where we were the villains. We were the bad guys. We were the evil ones. We were the serial killers. Yeah, yeah. We could talk about that too, Nameless. Yeah. One of my biggest pet peeves is when black folks discriminate against other people. Let's talk about that for a second because a lot of people who are complaining about the woke agenda, besides the Fox News crowd, um, is other black folks, especially when it comes to like it, the I like to call us the alphabet gang, the LGBTQ community. Whenever it's like black folks forget that queer people are in our community, like me, your host. Um, like we've always existed. They act like when they hear anything queer, anything LGBTQ, that is automatically Caucasian, and it's like no, we've existed. Like a lot of our history a lot of our history when it comes to LGBTQ was started or founded or originated from black trans women, like or Hispanic trans women, like the Stonewall riots and stuff like that. Like we've always existed, and for some reason black men, straight black men, not all but most straight black men, just find that hard to believe. Like, oh my gosh, why are oh my gosh, when P Valley came out, when P Valley came out, and you know those characters, oh my gosh, black a lot of black men, their heads exploded because they were like, to see the representation of black men in that light just really messed them up and pissed them off. Like they were triggered. They were triggered. And meanwhile, I'm popping my popcorn, laughing, smiling, like finally we got some representation that did not involve us being the bad guys or the villains, or you know but that's a whole nother time. I could go on a rant about that. I could go on a rant about black folks discriminating against other people. But yeah, is that is that it for my topics? Let me check my notes because I feel like I had more to say, but now I think I've ran through everything. I went through everything. Um, but again, what are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? Keisha has been on a roll, and I love it, man. Keisha, if I knew you was passionate about this conversation, I would have invited you to hop on like be on camera, be on the screen, and talk about this. Cause man, oh my gosh, this is a very important topic for me because first of all, I'm tired of woke being used in the wrong light, and I'm tired of people complaining just because other people are finally getting a shine. They're finally getting the representation that they've been deserved over the years. They're finally getting positive images. Our kids are finally getting more positive images of us. That has nothing to do with slavery. That has nothing to do with us being servants. That has nothing to do with us being the mystical, magical N word to help somebody win a battle. I'm so happy that we're finally getting positive representations. But the fact that it's 2023 and we're still getting backlash for it, like people are getting upset and complaining and trying to boycott. Right, Keisha? Right? Everybody has that what? That gay uncle or that gay aunt that nobody talks about. Me growing up as a kid, I'm not going to say his name, but we had that uncle that he makes the best pies. He makes the best desserts, but everybody knew he was part of that community. And this is even before I came out, and he was like the family secret or the family shame, which was sad. And now growing up as an adult, I'm like, dang, we really did bully that man. Well, not we, but my family. Horrible. But then again, I grew up with a lot of super religious people. The cult of Church of God in Christ, the Pentecostal cult. That's what I call them. So, where almost everybody in my family is a pastor. Ugh, it's just sad. Don't worry, I'm gonna get Keisha on one of these podcasts. We're gonna have to figure out another topic that she's real passionate about. I'm gonna get you, Keisha. I'm gonna get you. You slid by me this episode. I'm gonna bring you back on. I'm gonna bring you on officially. Speaking of which, before I go, because we've hit the hour mark. Before we go and close out the podcast, next week there are The next 2 weeks, actually. Next 2 weeks is going to be Marvel heavy. And it's going to be more lighthearted. It's not going to be all, rah, 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 political. It's going to be Marvel heavy the first week. Next week, um, we're going to have a Marvel panel. Hopefully, I will have certain people, a part of Wiz Tank Clan and the usual suspects, as guests. I'm still trying to work that out, trying to get as many people as I can. And we're going to be discussing Marvel, everything Marvel, TV shows and movies up until this point after Endgame. Because Endgame was the pinnacle. It was like the end of an era. We said goodbye to some legends like Robert Downey Jr. and stuff like that. And it ended one giant phase and started a new phase. So next week, we're going to have a Marvel panel. It's going to be a more fun, lighthearted podcast um, with some people of the usual suspects and the Wiz Tank Clan to come on. And we're going to talk about our thoughts of all Marvel content, TV shows, and movies from Endgame up until this point, and whether we think they're doing a good job, whether they're doing a bad job, whether we're in the middle. I'm not going to say where I land yet until next week, and I'm pretty sure some people on the panel, some of our special guests, are going to be very passionate about next week's episode, because some people either hating what Marvel is doing or loving what Marvel is doing, and very few are in the middle. Post Endgame. So if you have not caught up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I suggest you go on Disney Plus right now. They got a whole playlist in chronological order of everything, TV shows and movies. Watch the marathon, have a marathon night, and get ready to be in the discussion next week. Be in the chats. It's going to be fun. And then the week after that, we're going to have a Marvel Part 2, which is really a debate show. Marvel Part 2 with me and my good friend Cairo, because we're going to debate WandaVision mostly. Mostly, we're going to debate WandaVision mostly because Cairo hates Wanda. I love it. I love Wanda, and we're going to fight. So the next two episodes of Snake Cinema Podcast is going to be Marvel heavy. We're going to have a panel with the usual suspects and Wiz Tank Clan, and then I'm going to have my own solo debate with Cairo about WandaVision. Plus, we're going to talk about other things. It's also going to be a part 2 of this, technically. Our second topic, me and Cairo is going to discuss whether we believe Disney has done right by the Black community so far, with the most recent characters, both Marvel and both under the Marvel and the Disney umbrella. As far as representation, do we feel like they're doing a good job, or do we feel like they dropped the ball? So be ready for that. Oh, Keisha loves Marvel. Okay, Keisha, you got to be on the panel too. You probably be with your husband anyway, so y'all could be on the same screen. Bosa snuck back in. What up, Bosa? Let's see. I love my uncle Howie. He's always been my favorite uncle. So funny and loving. Facts. Rest in peace, Uncle Howie. Yes, it's always the queer uncles and aunties that are the funniest and have the most personalities when we grew up as kids. Yes. Hate it or love it, Marvel is the top. Yes, I preach that all the time. Hate it or love it. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is number one. Now, I will say DC has been amazing with their animated movies and their animated shows. So I will give DC props on that. But when it comes to the live action cinematic universe, Warner Brothers, DC gonna have to have their own episode, because boy, they trash, in my opinion. AKA Superman. Don't fight me, Terrence. Don't fight me. Look, me and Terrence might have to have a debate, because when I put in the Wiz Tang on sophisticated ignorance, how I feel about Mark Hamill, everybody felt bad. Everybody was triggered. So yeah, I might have a couple of debate shows. Me with Cairo with the One Division, and me and whoever who want to debate me on Henry Cavill as Superman. Because first of all, Superman is the worst superhero ever, and Henry Cavill is the worst rendition of Superman. Y'all can fight me on that, but that'll be a different debate. There'll be a different show. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you. Okay, we finally reached the 1 hour mark. Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. I appreciate everybody who's been in the chats, who's been talking and being a part of this discussion where I'm not just chatting by myself and ranting. I appreciate everybody who've been in this discussion. Again, next 2 weeks, episodes 5 and 6 will be Marvel heavy. So be ready. And it's going to be more lighthearted because we're going to have fun talking about the cinematic universe. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, check out today, this afternoon. Lady Tia's Exotics has her podcast, Reptiles and Cocktails, at noon. So please watch that. And then late tonight, we is and Joey D will have Sophisticated Ignorance podcast. Check that out. Watch it. Hopefully, there's an egg cutting. I'm not sure. You never know, but hopefully, we'll see some cool snakes on that. And then, of course, Sunday Rock with Snapes and Vapes, and also our other podcast Tuesdays, Beyond the Scales podcast. Also, again, for those who came into the chat late, I will be a special guest on Celtic Balls podcast on Monday, this coming Monday, Labor Day, on Podcasting Under the Influence with my uncle and auntie. So please come be a part of the conversations. Check us out. Spend your Labor Day evening with us. Um, as me as their special guest. I can't wait. I'm super excited. And any more news, and just support each other. Everybody in the reptile community has a podcast, and every podcast is different from the next, so please support everybody. I know mine's is way off kilter from everybody because I rarely talk about animals on my podcast. It's all about entertainment. But please support everybody. Every week there's 3 or 4, every day, not every week, every day from Monday through Sunday. There's like 2, 3, 4 podcasts going on. So support everybody. And except for that one podcast I never shout out, and y'all know why. I hate that guy. Um, but everybody else support. Great topic today. Thank you, Bosa. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. Smash that like button. Share this out to your friends, the replay. And let's support it. Yes, support each other is the yes, supporting each other. Yes, you're right, Bosa. You're right. F and A, what up? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got to go get ready to go to a relative's funeral. A lot of y'all know the situation because I told y'all a couple of weeks ago, we finally, the investigation is still going on, but we finally were able to lay him to rest and show respect and love. So I'm about to go and get ready for that. So continue to keep my family in your prayers, especially my big sister. Keep everybody in your prayers. And for those who have, before we leave, for those who have clutches, either your snakes already laid their eggs or the eggs are hatching. Congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to all of the baby snakes that are born and have been pipping and laying. We're going to do it. We're going to succeed. I pray that everybody's breeding season is a success, even if we might have some snakes that don't make it, some babies that don't survive. We are still moving and growing and becoming better breeders, better keepers, and better for the reptile community. And every setback is just going to bring us to a major comeback. So for those who maybe lost some snakes, lost some animals in this breeding season, my heart goes out to you, but just know that your setback will create a better comeback. Don't get discouraged. Don't quit breeding. Don't stop what you're doing. Just get them next season. Get them next season. Um, and we will keep growing. We will keep growing and we will get better. Like, I know I just got my first clutch and it's only 4 eggs. But hey, anything could happen between now and day 55. Anything could happen, but everything that happens is a lesson learned, and it to make us better and help us grow. I pray that all 4 make it. I pray that all 4 are healthy and they survive and they grow and I get to spoil them. And I don't care about the odds, whether they're all pastels or pastavis or anything in between, or just normal hits. I don't care. I'm gonna spoil all those babies to death. I can't wait. All four of those babies, unless I keep saying four, but I feel like one egg is gonna have twins. I don't know why. It's just my gut's telling me, especially after seeing that big giant embryo. Feel like I might end up with five babies instead of four. But anyways, I love y'all. I will see y'all next week. See y'all next week. Or I will talk to y'all in the chats of everybody else's podcast this week. Um, but I love y'all. Hop off. Have a great weekend, a great Labor Day weekend, a great Saturday. Go check out Lady T is at noon and we is tonight at 10 p.m. And I will see y'all in the next one. Elias is halfway to 1K. Let's get him there. Share. Oh, thank you, Keisha. Yes, I am. I am almost there to 1K. And I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the support. I love y'all. Y'all are my family. Y'all really are my family. And I appreciate y'all. So that's it for Snake Cinema Podcast. I'm your host, Prince Elias. This has been another episode. I will check y'all out next week. Love y'all. Peace.